You got the Millennium Falcon here, hiding in the hibiscus. Cute. I love it. Our top 5 fastest sales this week came out of the Goodwill Outlet / the bins. Here we go. Welcome back to Sale, Resell, Sold. My name is Heather. We are part-time resellers on 3 platforms currently: eBay, Poshmark, and Depop. On our little show, we do our top 10, Flippin Fast, Flippin Weird, and our flip-flop. This past week was pretty good. Pretty good. Was it pretty good? I don't think it was as good as last week. It started out strong, but it's still better than how April unfolded. Let's just get started with our top 10. Number 10 is 31 Zip Top Organizing Utility Tote Preppy Pop Stripes. I got this at the bins. I see a lot of 31 at the bins, and most of it's been really used, which is understandable. This is very multifunctional, very usable stuff. But this one appeared to be unused. It still had the creases. There was no pen marks inside. There was no staining on the inside. It was really crisp and stiff. And so I grabbed it. I do know that 31 sells. The company's no longer in business and people are still looking for their items. And I was right. This sold for our full asking price in 5 days. Our cost of goods on this is an average of $1.25 per item I pull from the bins. Our net profit was $22.95. Number 9. Aston Gray Congo Boots, men's size 11, gray suede brogue detailing, which was supposed to say broke detailing, but autocorrect was like, I don't know what you're talking about. And we didn't catch it. Side zip cap toe. These were super cute. I got these at the bins. This is my second pair of Aston Gray boots to get at the bins. The last pair were Chukkas. They also sold pretty quickly. We had them listed for $50 and they took a $30 offer because our cost of goods is pretty low. And I would prefer the boots just move because they're big. They were listed for 38 days and our profit on those was $22.75. Number 8, Geek Outfit Tropical Millennium Falcon Button-Up Short Sleeve Shirt, men's 5XL multicolor. I'm gonna pick up Star Wars, especially if it's unique. I think I'm not just gonna pick up the Walmart Star Wars t-shirt. But with this tag and this print, it was so cool. Someone paid our full asking price for it. I got this at the bins. It was listed for 60 days, and after it was all said and done, our profit was $22.75. So it's reading like we have a 3-way tie for the bottom 3 thus far. Number 7, unique vintage 50s Diane swing skirt, size 1X, button front, dark blue denim pockets. I got this in my free group. It was listed for 242 days, so 8 months. But unique vintage pieces are pretty cool, and they do sell. Mine currently aren't selling. This one has sold, but I have another unique vintage that I got at Goodwill. It's a really cool dress. This one sold for our full asking price, and there was no cost of goods, so our profit on that was $24. Number 6, vintage Brian 2-piece floral dress, Swiss dot, pinafore, size 6, blue, white, prairie. That would have said cottage. I got this in my free group. I got this huge lot of vintage children's clothes, mostly girls, mostly dresses like these. This has been listed for 4.5 months, and I took a $35 offer because there was no cost of goods. Our profit on that was $28.47. Number 5, Hot Topic licensed Playboy black t-shirt, red bunny, 100% cotton, new with tags. I can tell by this that it is a very old listing, 634 days listed. We don't have any measurements. I got numerous lowball offers for this shirt, and I just said no. I mean, this has been in my closet for 20 years. So what's another year, right? I've already had it this long. And it sold on offer for $40 and our profit was $32 because when things come out of our closet, we call them legacy purchases, where we've had them for so long we don't know the cost of goods, and so we just can't factor it in. Number 4, Lego Creator lot of 3 sets, Magical Unicorn, Mighty Dinosaurs, and a Dragon. I got these out of my own closet. I have a huge Lego cache. I got to the point where I just started lotting them together. This took over a year to sell, which isn't surprising because, usually when you go to buy Legos, you just want to buy the set you want. You're not necessarily looking for 3 sets. And I understand that. And these have been in my closet. I've had them for so long. I I don't mind holding on to them. If worse comes to worse, I give them to my grandkids. Not a problem. But they sold on offer for $49, and after it was all said and done, our profit was $39.20. Number 3, Crunch Labs by Mark Rober. Magnus Flyer Stem Build Box, new open box unused. I got this in the bins, you guys. I wouldn't have known to look for it, and I wouldn't have known it was something if my youngest kid, wasn't on his 3rd year of doing the Crunch Labs box. They are so fun. There were quite a few of these sold, and there were some listed. First, I verified that all the bags were present. They were all out there. They were all unopened, and it was a great find. And I just the things that you know what they are, and so you grab them, and you're just like, you're so glad other people don't know necessarily that this exists and it's valuable. So this was listed for 2 days before it sold for a full asking price. Our profit on it was $41.11. Monster High Skulltimate Secrets Iridescent Dracula doll coffin locker. I got this at Once Upon a Child. So I had gotten several of these. There was, I think this was I got 4 or 5. And the other ones went out of the store rather quickly, but she hung around, but she had so many likes and so many views. I'm still shocked it took over a year for her to sell. She was part of our 25% off sale, and she sold for $52.41, and our profit was $43.19. Oh, why isn't the cost of goods in here? We knew what it was. My cost of goods was really low. They had these priced at like $7 or $8, so they had no idea. And number 1 this week, Dublin River Country Boots 3, women's size 8.5, honey brown leather waterproof. These are riding boots or barn boots, or they were waterproof. They looked really good quality. I grabbed them at the bins. People leave boots behind all the time. I did comp them, and I did see that there were good comps for these. That's why I grabbed them. I had a couple of really lowball offers for these boots as well. I'm talking like $10, $15. And I was like, no. But the $60 offer I was fine with. I factor our cost of goods. I average it out over the amount spent to the amount of items. Roughly is $1.25. I'm fully aware that these weigh more than a pound. That's just how I do it. I can't weigh every single thing that I bring home. I bring home pounds and pounds of stuff from the bins. These were listed for 36 days. After it was all said and done, our profit was $46.75. Another week full of boots. It was crazy. And I'm glad they're gone because they're big and they're chunky and they're clunky and they take up all kinds of space. Let's do our flip flop. Cutter and Buck, Pike Magnolia, Stretch Golf Polo, men's size large. I took this $10 offer thinking I pulled this out of the bins, and that wasn't true. I got this at Goodwill, and our cost of goods was $6, and therefore our profit on this was $1. And it was listed just over 5 months or just under 6 months, however you want to look at it. But that's fine. I'm happy to get it out of the store. It's fine. These things happen. I should have checked eShop command, but I didn't. We've been going to the bins so much and we've been moving so much bin stuff. I just thought I got it at the bins. Oops. Flippin Fast. This is wild, guys. So at the bottom of a bag bin, there was this little purse charm, and I picked it up and looked at it. It was a peace sign, and it had a tassel and a little keychain attached to it, and it had a little tiny little metal circle that said the sack. And so I grabbed it. I didn't really think too much about it. I just threw it in my bins. I mean, in my cart, and we got it listed. We listed it for, I forget what, $14.99, and someone asked a bunch of questions about size, and as my husband's like, "Oh, I didn't think to measure it because how big could it be?" And I'm like, well, she wants to know. But she did buy it. She sent a $10.99 offer, which I accepted, and it sold in 18 hours. It's not what I expected to be our fastest flip. Our next fastest flip also came from the bins, 2 separate trips. They were 2 different Trader Joe's reusable cotton bags. One was sardines and one was cheese. The sardines ones was substantially more popular than the cheese one, but the cheese one was new with tags. And I took an $18 offer on the 2 of those. And I would be shocked if the 2 of those together weighed a pound. Crunch Labs was 2 days. Okay, well, let's talk about this dress. This Lulu's Heart of Marigold floral wrap maxi dress. I got this at the bins, but I pulled it to take to Plato's Closet. So I took it to Plato's Closet in Nashville. I took it to Plato's Closet in Ohio. I took it to Clothes Mentor in Ohio, and they all passed on it. And then I listed it for $24.88, and it sold in a matter of days for $19. Like, seriously? You guys passed on this and it sold so fast? But I think it was my keywords that did it. Boho, Western, Prairie, Yellowstone, Beth Dutton. Beth Dutton was always wearing deep V wrap dresses. Definitely not Lulu's. They were Dutton and other super duper high-end dresses. But this said Beth Dutton Inspo. And I'm just going to say that's probably what sold it. Because if you haven't seen Yellowstone, then you don't know what I'm talking about. But Beth Dutton is a force of nature. Everything on this list of our top 5 fastest flips was from the Goodwill Outlet / the bins. Everything. And our slowest were all from my closet. All right, what's Flippin Weird? Nothing. It's all awesome. Now, we could go with this, which I think is pretty cool. Every once in a while when I'm at the Dollar Tree, which is a store that I love, I will grab books. They get some really good books at the Dollar Tree. And this salt book, I didn't necessarily buy it to flip, but when I went through my books to see if any of them had any sort of value, not that this is any sort of value, but $25 from $1 is not that bad. But yeah, this sold on offer just over a year being listed. I collect cookbooks, so that's why I had this and why I bought this at the Dollar Tree. And it made us $12.91 profit just from a book sitting on my shelf. We've had 28 orders last week. Our gross sales were $682.69. Our net profit was $524.08. Our net average sale was $18.72. Our net median was $15.14. Most everything came from the bins. And if you will look, Depop has basically shut us out. I ran my big old mouth too soon, and we apparently are not popping off on Depop. And they were like, excuse me, settle down. 1 order last week. With Poshmark taking over at $293.55, eBay at $214, and Depop at $16.45. Come on, Depop. All right, so at a glance, it's kind of similar to last year. Our oldest listing was 22 months, making that almost 2 years old. So we had 24 new listings, 29 items sold with a sell-through rate of 120%. An average of 3 items listed per day, and our new listings has dropped and our average has dropped. That's because we took a couple days off because things got crazy at the house, so we didn't get anything listed. It happens. You can't, sometimes, you have to live your life. You can't just be store focused. It's a part-time gig. It's a pretty good week, and some fun stuff sold. Like this Millennium Falcon shirt's super cool. You got the Millennium Falcon here hiding in the hibiscus. Cute. I love it. Anyway, that was our week. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.